In the beginning, there was nothing. Wait a minute, it says here work started 12 months ago. Why is there still nothing?
Yes, you see, I can explain that. So, to make a video game, you need to have a more diverse set of skills than a chameleon at a rainbow convention.
Ah, I see. So you've been busy learning the fundamentals. That's why there's nothing here yet.
Well, not exactly. Here, let me show you. They say the fastest way to learn is by making mistakes, and I started off by immediately making a massive one.
Which was?
Scope. I made the classic rookie error of trying to do too much too soon.
Warning, you are now arriving at your first stop.
Oh, it looks like we're arriving at our first stop. So, my first idea was to make a hub area with lots of different zones connected by portals. Look, we're about to go through one now.
Oh.
I didn't make the portals myself, I got them from a tutorial by Sebastian Lager. Each zone was supposed to contain at least one mini-game that players could either play on their own or with friends.
So you wanted your first game to be multiplayer?
Haha. Yes, despite all warnings to the contrary, that was my second mistake. Fortunately, I had some other areas to focus on first though. For example, here are some of the particle effects and shaders that I toyed around with.
Doesn't seem too bad for a first try. You learned a lot.
Yes, that's true, and I did also have a lot of fun playing around with different things, but there was something that I think drastically slowed my progress. A lack of focus.
Perhaps you could have defined a small mini-project to help shortlist some areas to focus on strengthening first, rather than trying to do everything in parallel.
Yes, actually I did do that for a bit, and here's how it turned out.
Ooh, spooky.
This is one of the zones I made that was supposed to lead to a minigame, but I never got around to actually making the game itself.
A definite lack of focus then.
But at least I realised that, and only after 5 months. At which point I decided to settle on a specific game idea, and that game was...
Ta-da! Welcome to the arena. This was supposed to be a platform fighting game where you could upgrade your character between each round. Although, as you can see, I didn't get very far. Okay, but the foundations seem to be there, and it has quite a distinct art style. Yes, I drew all the artwork myself, literally. Unfortunately, when you take a closer look, you can see that the objects are all scaled differently, and things can get a bit blurry. Apart from the art and movement, I did get a basic health system and a combat system working, but it all fell to pieces when I tried to get it working with multiplayer. He's hitting himself. As I was still learning the basics of multiplayer programming, I decided to focus on a simpler project with fewer interactions between the players, which brings us to my current project. Oh, a racing game. You're hopping from project to project faster than a squirrel on a caffeine binge.
That's a fair criticism. However, I think that's due to a combination of me being overly ambitious and also not thinking enough about what I wanted to do before starting each project.
Oh, I see.
I think this is the game I'm most proud of so far. It's still missing some key components, but I've caught myself a few times procrastinating by playing it over and over, which I think is a very good sign.
I would say so. What are the rest of your plans for this one then?
Well, for now I just wanted to have a basic single-player mode where you can avoid obstacles to get a high score. In the future I would like to have some pre-made maps and of course multiplayer, but for now I'm keeping it simple.
Oh, I see you have learned something in the last 12 months at least.
I also have an additional twist, but I will talk about that more once I've actually got it fully working. I think it will make a lot more sense if I show you rather than just tell you.
Fair enough. Before we end, I'd just like to go over some key points, so that people can avoid making some of the same mistakes that you did.
Sure.
Point number 1. Start small.
Yes, don't be too ambitious until you're ready.
Number 2. You do not talk about... no, that's not right. Number 2. Don't start with multiplayer.
Yeah, it makes everything take much longer, which means you are learning a lot slower, so it's just better to focus on the basics until you're ready for it.
Experiment, but have a focus.
Focused learning will help you remember what you've learnt. Next, plan before you start. So yeah, you definitely want to avoid time on a game that will never work out in the end, or that you don't have the skills to fully complete yet. Spending a few hours thinking about this at the very beginning can save you days or even weeks later on. And finally, I would also like to add, don't judge yourself too much if you think you are making slow progress, especially in the beginning. As long as you are learning, you are winning. True. Remember, everyone started off as a beginner, you just need to be patient and keep at it. Eventually you will make something you are proud of. So, happy developing, and see you all next time.